everybody, welcome to IndianExpress.com. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Panasonic GH5. With this camera, the company takes things a step further by introducing 6K video. But there is so much more to this camera. We're going to talk about what's good, what's bad, and whether you should buy it or not. But that's not the only thing that's unique about this camera. The GH5 can also shoot 4K footage with 10-bit color, which is much better than the standard 8-bit renditions that we're seeing. And today, with the trend moving towards HDR video, 10-bit will definitely give you more color information than the standard 8-bit media stream. So with the GH5, get ready to get rid of this habit of moving the camera from your eye to change the settings, because the button layout on this camera is so good. You can operate all your key settings with just the thumb and the index finger, be it changing ISO, aperture, shutter speed, or even the focus point, thanks to a convenient joystick placed right next to the thumb. We all love the convenience of having a touchscreen on our smartphones. We're so used to it, and Panasonic's brought that into the GH5. You can now touch to focus, and you don't have to keep tapping. You just move your finger around and the focus points change seamlessly. And the best thing is, the camera is actually able to lock focus on your subject, provided it's in good light, and you can it tracks across the frame, and that's one of the most important things, especially when you're shooting video. It's not going to lose track of your subject even if the subject moves. This is especially useful while shooting videos. Operational stuff aside, let's talk about the output. The sensor is a 20 megapixel sensor, and the images coming out of that are actually pretty damn good. You have a latitude of about 3 stops that you can either overexpose or underexpose and still manage to recover detail. That's for photos. And the video looks crisp, very sharp, well exposed, although it's slightly on the lower end with dynamic range. But when you're shooting 4K or even 6K, you can recover all that information in post-production. One of the downsides to the GH5 is its weight. It's pretty bulky, it's pretty big, and for a mirrorless camera, it almost looks like an entry-level DSLR. So if you're planning on shooting for long hours, handheld, be ready to have your arm hurt after like an hour or so. The other downside to the GH5 is the fact that it juices out the battery very quickly. I was only able to shoot for about 2 hours, mix of video, 6K and 4K, along with photos, and by the end of those 2 hours the battery was almost dead. The camera was flashing a warning and I had to put it in for charge. So I strongly recommend you buy extra batteries if you're going to go for the GH5. The GH5 costs about 1,95,000, and in terms of what it can do for that price, the only logical competitor to the GH5 at this point of time is the Sony a7S II, which has a 12 megapixel full frame sensor and can shoot 4K video in camera. Whereas the GH5 can do 6K, has a touch focus system which is very reliable and great control. So if your choice is between higher resolution and a camera that's easier to operate, you might want to choose the GH5 over the Sony. However, if quality is supreme for you, then the Sony might give you better output for photos and video overall. The 2 lakh rupee price tag on the Panasonic GH5 might seem a little on the higher side to most people, and that's actually true. This camera is not meant for everybody. If you're a novice photographer or an amateur looking to get into photography or film, you may want to avoid this camera. However, if you're a production person heavily invested in video, this will be an asset to your kit for sure. For photographers though, you have better options out there for a lower price tag.